Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am so excited to have y'all here. I guess I always say that, but I am sincerely excited this morning. Hey, it's Chucks for Pearls and Earls. We only get to come on quarterly, so we are all here and we're excited, right, ladies?
We are excited. Yay!
Yes, we are moms on a mission. We are moms with sons and we're on a mission. So we are just super excited this morning for our quarterly talk. I can't wait. I'm just too excited. It is men praying, women providing healing, promoting hope. And when I tell you, you're going to love it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So thank you again for joining Build Your Best Life this morning. Please like, please share, because you want all your friends to get some of this. Thank you so much. We are going to start with prayer. We have Deacon Dan Smith is going to lead us in prayer.
Amen.
Amen.
Good morning, my favorite ladies. How are you all this morning?
Good morning.
Good
morning.
What
He
a
just
blessing
makes our
to-
morning, doesn't he?
What a blessing to see you all again.
Absolutely.
Come together,
Amen.
Chucks and Pearls for Earls. This is the day that the Lord has made. So we're going to pray, and I'm going to get out y'all way because I know y'all have something good to say.
Huh?
Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. Now, Lord, I ask you to bless this production today. Let it be pleasing to your and edifying to yourself, and give them what they need. God, you speak through them because you have all power in your hand. Now we just ask you to cover them, give them what they need, guide and lead them. And we just thank you for allowing them to come again one more time. And as we go out through this day, we just ask you to continue to bless their families, just bless everything about them and give them what they need. These are all blessings we ask your son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Indeed,
Have fun, ladies.
we always. Indeed, it's a great day, and what better way to start a morning than to have some affirmations. So let's get our minds and our hearts set so we can receive what it is that we will be sharing with all of you today. I don't know about you, but I love myself some me. And I hope you love yourself some you. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to say, I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
There is power within me.
There is power within me.
I will allow myself to be unique.
I will allow myself to be unique.
I am beautiful inside and out.
I am beautiful
inside and out.
I deserve to take up place on this planet.
I deserve to take up space on this
planet.
My God and I can handle anything today throws at me.
My
God and I can handle anything today throws at me.
Peace begins within me.
Peace
begins within me.
I appreciate everything that I have.
I appreciate everything that I have.
I believe in me.
I believe
in me.
And today will be the best day ever.
Today will be the best day ever.
Now, you have to believe that whatever your affirmations are, they do not have to be those affirmations, But every morning when your feet hit the floor, you heard it before. The devil needs to say, up, she's up, or up, he's up, and the devil shall flee. So you make sure whatever your affirmations are, it can be in a song, it can be in a poem, whatever is personal to you, but you declare each and every day to be the very best day ever. Yeah. We may not know what tomorrow brings, but we definitely know who holds tomorrow. So we're going to do just that. March is so much. We just left out of February, Black History Month, and now we're into March Madness. And you know, sometimes March Madness can turn into March Gladness, just depending on who you're rooting for.
Yeah.
Oh, what you think about that, Carol?
I love that. You see my water bottle? It says March Madness. Can you see it?
I like it.
I'm all for the madness here.
I like it. So what will you be sharing with us, Carol?
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Anita, for those affirmations. We always, and I love the one on peace. Oh my goodness. So today, this morning, y'all, I just love the theme March Madness because I'm kind of a basketball athletic. I'm not athletic, but I like sports too. But we are talking this month simply about we want to celebrate Women History Month along with our March Madness. So I think today we will have something to share for not only women, but we want to also include our Earls. So we got some for the pearls and some for the Earls. But you know, there's been countless amazing women who are trailblazers for women's sports. And we stand on the shoulder, not only in sports, but we stand on the shoulders of many, many great women. One in particular, and we just finished Black History Month, one in particular, I'm sure my other pearls on here will share more, but we think about Harriet Tubman. I know we are finished with Black History, but we stand as women and people on the shoulders of Harriet Tubman. They called her the Moses. And she wanted, I love rereading the story about her because she wanted freedom for herself, but she wasn't selfish about this thing. She wanted freedom for those, her family members, and all of those who wanted to experience freedom. And so she didn't just take it and make it for herself. She went back several times, they said, and one in particular to get her family. And she did that. I think it was over 300 slaves that she brought to freedom, and she didn't lose anybody. So what a blessing. She talked about, and I love this because she talked about always how God would lead her. She would just hear him. And when he told her to go, she would go. When he told her to stay, she wouldn't. And so she said about how God would lead God and protect her as she traveled along. And we understand what the Underground Railroad was. Well, I just thought that there are other women that we share, that we stand to on their shoulders. And since this is March Madness, and we know that we got some for the Earls, which are the men and boys, and for the pearls, the women and the girls, getting to the Final Four is huge if you're talking about basketball. Now, if you're talking about football, you want to get to the championship as well. And it's about a four kind of a bracket that you get into as well. But in the Final Four in basketball, everybody wants to get to the Final Four because you know you're halfway there, you're almost there, and then to win the championship. And that holds true in women basketball, men basketball, college, professional. Everybody want to go and get in the Final Four. So today we're going to celebrate the women that I'm going to kind of highlight a little bit, but there's so many more that I could have chosen, but I decided to pick some of these. History is filled with women who have dramatically changed the world. Their sacrifices, like I talked about Harriet Tubman, sacrifices and their passion and their fire still inspires women today. because we're standing on their shoulders. These women are and were just plain ordinary women who struggle with choices and convictions of their heart. And today, as women still we're facing challenges and choices and issues and dilemmas, but each day brings an opportunity for us to impact the lives around us and the choices to change the history for our generation. We're talking about in history, but we're looking at those who've gone before us, but we are making history every day as well. So let's just look at a few of these amazing women now and the past, because remember, everybody is standing on the shoulders of someone else. I don't know if you know any of these, but I thought it was interesting that Althea Gibson, one of the first Black athletes to cross the color line, she was an international tennis player in 1956, and she won the Grand Slam, but she also, too, was a golfer. And of course, we all know Venus and Serena Williams. And one thing for the Earls, I want to bring out that they were coached by their dad, also their mother, but they were coached by their dad, Richard Williams. And Serena, of course, is one of the professional tennis players, and she has been she's ranked singles world #1 by Women Tennis Associations. And so she has a joint record of 186 consecutive weeks and finished as the year-end #1 5 times. She's won 23 Grand Slam single title. Well, since it's basketball time, I thought about Louisa Harris, and we want to make sure we're honoring and looking at all women who made some contributions. And so Louisa Harris, pioneer of women basketball, NBA, in 1977, she was chosen to be the 7th round, and she also was in the Hall of Fame in 1992. But you know, back then we didn't have WBNA. But in 1996, the United States founded the WNBA. And guess what? First round pick, and I'm kind of partial to her because she's from Texas. First round pick to the first women NBA in the United States was Cheryl Swoops. She went first round to the Houston Comets, and she was referred to, for the Earls, she was referred to as the Michael Jordan of women basketball. She also had some shoe endorsements just like Michael, and her shoes were Swoops shoes, Cheryl Swoops, and she graduated from Texas Tech here in Texas. There's another one here, Breonna Stewart, and she was drafted in 2016 to the Seattle Storms. We're celebrating all women. And then in 2021, first round, Charlie Collier went to the Dallas Wings, and she went to college in UT. All of these ladies, Earls and Pearls, they were college. They had to go to college. So let's not forget that. And then Becky Hammond, first female NBA head coach. Not only do we have players, but we've got women who went on and were trailblazers for becoming first women to coach. And this Becky Hammond was the first female NBA head coach for the San Antonio Spurs. She actually was there for 8 seasons. Women are making a difference. We celebrate all women in sports. Let's move on. I know I'm talking about basketball, but do y'all remember Gabby Douglas? Gabrielle Christina Victoria Douglas. She was Gabby to us, but in 2012, she was the Olympic all-around champion and the 2015 World all-around silver medalist. And she also was the first African-American to become an Olympic individual all-around champion. Yes, we've got women in all areas doing stuff. And of course, recently, we all know Simone Biles. She is another American gymnastic. Both of these were gymnastic. And also, let me say this, Gabby also was the first United States gymnast to win a gold on both the individual and all-around team competition. So Gabby, we still salute you. But you know, one thing that broke my heart about Gabby is that it was us, talking about her hair. I was like, out of all the things she's done, we are focusing on her hair. But Gabby went on and continued to make something of herself. And then Simone Biles, we know her, and she's recently a gymnast too. But she said something that I thought that was worth quoting. She said, "I'd rather regret the risk that I didn't work out than the chances that I did work. I'd rather regret the risk that I didn't work out than to take a chance and didn't take it at all." So take the risk, she said, because it's worth it in the end. And then there's others. Rachel Loren Garcia, I won't be able to give her history on all of them, but she was an Olympic softball player. Anita Alvarez, she was a Mexican-American artist and a synchronized swimmer. And these women have all gone on to make great contributions. And now I just want you to know that there are women that are on the rise in basketball. This March Madness, I want you to, we're already in some of the basketball madness. And so there are some women, young women that are on these college teams. And I want you to remember their names too, simply because they are going to make great contributions. As a matter of fact, a young lady that's Paige Buchers. She's at UConn, University of Connecticut. Nalissa Smith, Baylor Bears. And then Aaliyah Boston, South Carolina. These three ladies I chose simply because they were both tied for the first place in the top 25 women college basketball players. So we celebrate all women. We celebrate the Earls too, who's made contributions. Michael Jordan, I call him. Serena Williams' dad, we've talked about him. And then we want to make sure that we're celebrating all women because we are worth celebrating. That affirmation, Anita, that you gave is absolutely one of those that we need to think about. And then I'd like to celebrate the three ladies that I have the opportunity to share this platform with. Miss Deborah, Miss Anita, and Miss Anastasia. I salute and celebrate you as we celebrate Women Month. So let me leave you with this. Courage, sacrifice, determination, commitment, toughness, heart, talent, guts. That's what little girls are made of. And somebody said, and to heck with the sugar and spice. Sugar and spice is nice. They used to say that about little girls, but we still too, as women, have to have courage. We have to make sacrifices. We have to have determination, commitment, toughness, heart, talent, and guts. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Miss Anita.
All right. So that was wonderful to hear all about March Madness. But what would they have been, all these athletes, without educators? I mean, just think about it. We all need the smarts as well. So let's find out if we can get something about educators.
Oh, you know, I love talking about teaching in schools and learning and education. You know, March Madness, I think Miss Carol just made March Madness be some March Gladness. Carol, you said that something about standing on the shoulders, and that's what I firmly believe. Alex Haley stated that if you see a turtle on a fence post, you know he did not get there on his own. So I would like to start with saluting all educators, whether it's from the past, whether it's from the present, and I know we have some coming in the future. We are who we are today, and we can sort of enjoy and live the American dream because we are standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. We are those turtles on a fence post, and if those who came before us had not made significant sacrifice, we could not enjoy some of the things that we are enjoying today. Therefore, we should live a life so that those who come behind us We should live a legacy that those who come behind us can still enjoy some of the things that we made a difference, or that we made a sacrifice, or that we had an input in them becoming or achieving. That's why I love education. So I'm from South Carolina. I would like to highlight my first one, who's from South Carolina. Her name was Charlotte Fortune Giske, and she was an African-American anti-slave activist, poet, and educator who grew up in a prominent abolitionist family in Philadelphia. And she taught school for years, including trying to teach free slave men and women how to read and how to write. Before we go any further, I want to acknowledge two of my favorite Earls. And my first one I want to talk about, he was a sociologist, a socialist, a historian, a Pan-Africanist, civil rights activist. He was born in Barrington, Massachusetts. He relatively was born in an integrated community. After completing his graduate work at the University of Berlin and Harvard, he was the first African-American to earn his doctorate degree. He became a professor of history, sociology, and economics at Atlanta University. And he was one of the founders of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. I know you know by now, I'm talking about none other than Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. What a magnificent Earl. He left that legacy. And because of his sacrifice, we are able to enjoy some of the American dream that's meant for us to be able to enjoy. If you have ever heard me say anything about African Americans, anytime I get the chance to mention this Earl, I will talk about this Earl, because I love me some peanuts. Absolutely love me some peanuts. So this Earl was born into slavery and rose to become a leading African American in the 19th century. He founded Tuskegee Normal Industrial Institute, now Tuskegee University. And 2 decades later, he founded the National Negro Business League. That's right, none other than my man, Booker T. Washington. So thank you, Booker T, because I love myself some peanuts. You know, when we talk about education, and before I talk about the two pearls that I want to highlight, I love children. And our children have made so many sacrifices as well. One of my favorite all-time students who made a significant impact is none other than Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges goes to school. This will tell you how much I like Ruby Bridges, because yes, you're right. I still have the VHS. I cannot part with it. I will not part with it. Ruby Bridges, one of my absolute favorite. I also want to hold this book up because I want to encourage everyone who's listening this morning to read. Sometimes we think that we have to pick up a 400-page book to learn more about our history. No, we do not. It matters not whether it's a 400-page book or a 20-page children's book. Pick up the book and let's read about our history. At the tender age of 6, Ruby Bridges advanced the cause of civil rights in the 1960s when she became the first African-American student to integrate elementary schools, public schools in the South. Ruby Bridges, y'all. That's my girl. I love myself some Ruby Bridges. Now, Ruby went alone, but sometimes it's good to go in groups. And there are so many different groups, like the Greensboro Sit-In. Again, this is a children's book. Pick it up, read it by yourself, read it with a family. You do not have to purchase books. I guarantee you there's a public library in every city. go get you a card. Sit there and read about our history. One of my favorite groups, see if you recognize these names. How about Ernest Green, Minnie Jean Brown, Elizabeth Eckford, Thelma Mothershed, Melba Patello, Gloria Ray, Terrence Roberts, Jefferson Thomas, and Carlotta Walls. If you guessed the Little Rock Nine, then you guessed right. I love the story of the Little Rock Nine. In 1957, these were teenagers ranging in ages 15 through 17 who challenged racial segregation in public school of Little Rock, Arkansas, and they were game changers. So thank you to the Little Rock Nine. Read a book, watch the movie, but know some of our history of these movers and these shakers. The two educators that I want to highlight, I thought we know so much about known people, those who are famous and those who are out there. I want to talk about two sort of that we don't talk about all of the time. How about Fannie Jackson Copen? And I want to talk about Fannie Jackson Copen because I get so encouraged, I get so inspired, I get so motivated when I hear stories of our ancestors who were slaves, who still beat the odds, who still made a difference, who still learned how to read and write, who still understood, as Harriet Tubman taught us, if I make it over, then I need to come back and get you by the hand and help you to make it over as well. All of us need to have some of Harriet Tubman mentality in us. When I climb up, you better believe I want you to go up with me. So let's remember that. But Miss Fannie, she was born a slave in the nation capital. She was a slave and she was purchased by her aunt, but another aunt took her in to help raise her. Fannie had to go to work and she had to do domestic work. She could get schooling whenever and however she could. By the age of 14, she was supporting herself. I cannot imagine supporting myself at the age of 14. For most of us, we're doing good to support ourselves in our adult lives. But she found education to be a struggle. This is what she said. She said, but it was in me. She wrote years later, to get an education and to teach my people. That was instilled in her, and that's what she was feeling. She stated, this idea was deep in my soul. She attended Rhode Island State Normal School and then Oberlin College, where her achievements were amazing. She was the first African-American person chosen to be a public teacher there. In her senior year, she organized evening classes so she could teach free slaves. After graduating in 1865, can you believe that? After graduating in 1865, she was appointed to the Institute for Colored Youth, a Quaker school in Philadelphia, and within 4 years, she became the head principal. That means hard work. She had that birth in her. She was on a mission, and she was not going to let anybody stop her or anyone turn her around. I want you to listen closely to what she said in a letter to Frederick Douglass in 1876. And this is so deep. She explained her commitment, and I quote, I feel sometimes like a person to whom in childhood was entrusted some sacred flame. This is the desire to see my race lifted out of the mere of ignorance, weakness, and degradation, no longer to sit in obscure corners and devour the scraps of knowledge which his superiors flung at him. I want to see him crowned with strength and dignity, adorned with the enduring grace of intellectual attainment. What she is saying is get out the corner, take some steps, bring somebody with you. If it's there for anybody, it's there for us as well. We don't have to always be on the bottom. We can definitely be at the top. Her school was centered on her dream. She expanded her curriculum to include an industrial department. She established a women's industrial exchange to display the mechanical and artistic works of young women. And she founded a home for girls and young women. To me, that just blows my mind that all of that took place way back when in the 1870s. She did so much with whatever she had. She wanted to make a difference, and that's exactly what she did. She impacted the community that she was in, and she changed lives. The next one that I want to highlight, and she will be my last one that I highlight, and I picked Miss Inez Beverly Purser because sometimes we think we have to live a long life to make a big difference. But her life wasn't so long, but she made a big difference. I know you've heard it before. You see your birthday, you see your end date, and you see that dash in the middle. Well, everybody dash on their tombstone, usually it's about the same length. That doesn't mean it represents the years. It represents what we did with the years that we have. So you make sure you live your dash and you make an impact on this world. So Miss Inez had an improbable life. She was born to a family of 11 children at the end of the 19th century in South Texas and educated in its colored schools. She taught for 18 years. She earned her PhD in psychology in 1933, the first such degree earned by a woman of race. A year later, friends and families and students gathered in San Antonio to mourn her death. She was only about 38 years old because her birthday is not known. But in 38 years, she did so much. She had the Harriet Tubman mentality. If I can make it, I'm going to help somebody else make it as well. Her family thought that they could only send one child to school, so they was planning on sending her brother. But her brother thought, Inez is a little smarter than me. Maybe you need to send Inez. So the family did, and it was definitely not a mistake. When Inez finished, she helped pave the way for 5 of her younger siblings to attend and get a college education as well. She spent the majority of her life teaching in Black colleges, not just in Texas, but also in Mississippi as well. After her death, her legacy continues to live on this day. I don't know about you, but I do believe that all of us will live here. And I want my legacy to outlive my life. I hope there is something that I do, something that I say. I hope that I change somebody's life or impact somebody in such a way that after I go for my heavenly reward, that what I did, what I said, how I lived, how I gave will still live on. Probably not as deep as Dr. King, but I want something that I do to make a difference so that my living will not be in vain. There is power in our voices. I think you see on this side. There's power in our voices. So let's make sure that we speak up and that we stand out. Here, You see my chair. This is a folding chair. And Shirley Chisholm said, if they don't give us a seat at the table, you bring your folding chair. So if you have to bring your folding chair, you still sit at that table. Now, Shirley was not only a great educator, Shirley was also a great politician. And I think my sister Anastasia is going to share some more insight on some great politicians. What do you have for us, Anastasia?
Sorry, you're absolutely right, Miss Anita. I do. Now, I know that I am not based there, but we here in the Bahamas, we cannot deny that if the U.S. catches a cold, we're going to catch it too. As soon as y'all sneeze, that breeze comes along our way because we are so close in proximity and the cultures are so closely meshed and the behaviors and the influence and everything is so closely meshed that we cannot escape it. We cannot run away from it. And so there have been some great educators that moved over into politics. Persons like the Washington Senator, Patty Murray. So she was, believe it or not, preschool teacher. How amazing is that? She went in the earliest part of her educational journey. She was a preschool teacher before becoming a senator. And we also have persons like California Representative Mark Takano. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Who has emerged as one of Congress's social media stars during the Trump era. We all remember that period. But before that, he followed a different career path. He began teaching at Riverside County's Rialto High School in 1988 before he ran for office. Now, I know that sounds like a very long time ago, but it actually wasn't. Someone born in 88, they're not even 30 years old yet. There's also Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. She was regularly discussed as a potential presidential contender for the Democrats in the 2020 election. If she were to win, she'd be the second straight Democratic president to have taught college students. She taught law at Harvard. Now, someone that's in charge of creating laws, you would want them to know a lot about it, right? But it didn't work out in that way. We still ended up in a great situation though. But I'm going to make it to my Earl. And my Earl of this evening, who was also a former teacher, is former President Barack Obama. First of all, everyone will recognize the name. Yeah, of course, he's a great man that did great things. He was an American teacher in chief for 8 years. Former President Obama was a professor of law at the University of Chicago from 1992 until his election in 2004 to U.S. Senate. So, Miss Anita, we have a lot of representatives that were in education and they moved over into politics, and there was only greatness ahead for them. But my first person that I would like to highlight is his wife, former FLOTUS, First Lady of the United States, is Miss Michelle Obama. Now, we all know how they grew up in Chicago together, went to school together. There was this whole big love story and everything. And I myself personally, I swooned over it because I watched Barry and I read the book. And so it gives you this hope and this possibility of, you know what? Yeah, there's still time, there's still opportunity, and, you know, this could really happen. It could be just starting out here with this guy that you thought you wouldn't like, and then it just turns into greatness. But outside of being the First Lady, she had her own things going on, and she did a lot for the country. She did things like the Let's Move. It was launched in 2010. It was meant to bring together community leaders, educators, medical professionals, parents, and others in a nationwide effort to address the challenge of childhood obesity. Let's Move has an ambitious goal to solve the epidemic of childhood obesity within a generation. Whether it's providing healthier food in schools, helping kids to be more physical and active, urging companies to market healthier foods to our children, Let's Move is focused on giving parents the support they need to make healthier choices for their children. Now, we would think that, you know what? Oh, yeah, that's the parents' responsibility. They're responsible for that. They buy the groceries. Kids don't work. Yes, but influence is a big thing. And we all know how hard it can be to say no. When that tantrum really hits, it hits hard. But another initiative that Mrs. Obama led in 2011, along with Dr. Jill Biden, was the Joining Forces initiative. It was a nationwide initiative calling all Americans to rally around service members, veterans, and their families, and to support them through wellness, education, and employment opportunities. Joining Forces works hand in hand with the public and private sector to ensure that service members, veterans, and their families have the tools they need to succeed throughout their lives. Another initiative was in 2014 when she launched the Reach Higher initiative, an effort to inspire young people across America to take charge of their future by completing their education past high schools, whether at a professional training program or whether it was through community college, a four-year college, or university. Reach Higher aims to ensure that all students understand what they need to complete their education by working to expose students to colleges and career opportunities, helping them to understand financial aid eligibility, encouraging academic planning and summer learning opportunities, and supporting high school counselors who do essential work to help students get into college. I know that all of the ladies on this platform, they have been those college advocates, and they have been the ones that have been encouraging those around them and in their atmosphere to go on to college. And sometimes a program like Reach Higher is needed for those who don't have women like the great women I'm on this panel with to influence them and to encourage them. And so that is a great initiative that she started. Another one was Let Girls Learn, a U.S. government-wide initiative to help girls around the world to go to school and to stay in school. Now, it may sound like something that's simple. Oh, this is 2022, you know, everybody has access to education, but it's not at the same level. It's not the same quality. The access is not as easy for some as it is with others. So as a part of this effort, Mrs. Obama is calling on countries across the globe to help educate and empower young women. And she is sharing the stories and the struggles of these young women with people here to inspire them to commit to their own education. So as First Lady, former First Lady, she committed to supporting military families. She supported helping children to lead healthier lives. She encouraged our young people to fulfill their boundless promises. Now, I know that we all think about different persons in our lives who may have been talked to in this way, and they may have been influenced in this way to go to college and to do these things, not knowing what the outcome could be. But I would like to highlight my second pearl, who kind of shows us what the potential of working hard and sticking with it and doing your very best at all times can look like. And so that person in politics, that young woman, that pearl who influenced politics so greatly and who is actually a part of the inspiration for the naming of this platform is Miss Kamala Harris. And so she's now the Vice President of the United States of America. She was elected along to serve along with President Joe Biden. And She is the daughter of immigrants from India and Jamaica. Close enough, right? You know, Jamaica just across the pond a little bit from us. So we feel like we're invested in this little situation here too. She graduated from Howard University and the University of California, Hastings College of Law. Now, she says that my mother would look at me and she'd say, Kamala, you may be the first to do many things, but make sure you are not the last. And I'm sure that you've heard straight through in this morning's platform that when you start something and when you are achieving great things, you make sure that you pull everybody else along with you, that you leave the path open for others to follow. And this is one of the things that Vice President Harris has been learning and has been growing with all of her life through the words of her mother. And so she was primarily raised and inspired by her mother, Shyamala Gopalan. I know I didn't say that right. Please don't crucify me. She's a breast cancer scientist and pioneer in her own right. She received her doctorate the same year that Vice President Harris was born, which gives a little shout out to the single mothers out there. Do not let anything hold you back. Do not let anything hold you down. She gave birth to the future vice president the same year that she received her doctorate. Anything can happen. Anything can be done. Growing up, Vice President Harris was surrounded by a diverse community and extended family. In 2014, she married Douglas Emhoff. They have a great blended family that includes their children, Ella and Cole. Throughout her career, she's been guided by the words that she spoke the first time she stood up in court. Kamala Harris for the people. In 1990, Vice President Harris joined the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, where she specialized in prosecuting child sexual assault cases. She then served as a managing attorney in the San Francisco District Attorney's Office and later was chief of the Division on Child and Families for the San Francisco City Attorney's Office. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, right? You want to think of how does she start out with children? Well, it's great that she started out with children. Even though she was not a former educator, she had a heart for children, and that can be appreciated and that can be loved. At every step of the way, she's been guided by the words that were spoken for the first time in the courtroom, that she is for the people. And so in 2017, Vice President Harris was sworn into the United States Senate. In her first speech, she spoke out on behalf of immigrants and refugees who were then under attack. As a member of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, she fought for better protections for dreamers and called for better oversight of substandard conditions at immigration detention facilities. On the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, she worked with members of both parties to keep the American people safe from foreign threats and crafted bipartisans legislation to assist in securing American elections. And you would think that in these times, you would not still have to fight for the right to vote. You would not have to still fight for the right to have a voice and to be heard. But this was a part of her initiative. This is a part of what she was working for. And to now hold the position as vice president, I'm sure that she still is continuing on with the initiatives that she started out with. On August 11th, 2020, Vice President Harris accepted President Joe Biden's invitation to become his running mate and help unite the nation. She is the first woman, the first Black American, and the first South Asian American to be elected vice president, as was the case with other offices as she's held. She is, however, determined not to be the last. And so even though we know that we want to trailblaze and we want to make sure that there is always a line to walk on, or a trail and a path left behind for those to follow behind us, this young woman, because she's still young, is one of the examples of where we can come from and where we can go. And so we cannot forget the impact that has been left behind by these two wonderful women in politics. And I absolutely will not forget um, former First Lady of the United States. I always think of the FLOTUS. Definitely cannot forget her impact, not only on America and not only on us here in the Bahamas, but also on me personally, because it is through reading her book and watching her story and seeing her timeline that helped me to want to become more and want to encourage other people to become more. And when we think about where we are now and the possibilities of where we can be, it's limitless. It's absolutely limitless. And that's one of the things that we absolutely need to hold on to and remember as we celebrate Women's Month. And it may have been given a month, but we're going to make sure that it goes all year round. I'm not going to settle for a month. Yeah, we've got a great theme going and it's a great place to be in, to be recognized. Yep, I love it. We love it. But we're going to try to make sure that this train never stops and that it keeps on going all year round. But politicians don't always agree. But I know that we can't argue with the fact that music is the universal language of humankind. Don't you think so, Miss Deborah?
Most definitely. Yes, yes, yes. But just listening to all the wonderful accolades of the athletes, the educators, and the politicians, how awesome is that? I knew it was going to be an amazing morning, and I have just been sitting here just like in awe. So thank you all so much for sharing. You know, this men praying and women providing healing, promoting hope. That is so deep, and it goes to the root of everything. But getting on to my music, don't want to preach. I'm going to, music is one of my favorite things of the arts. I mean, turn on some music, I can get so much work done, whether it's housework, administrative work, whatever it is, in my car, just music. As long as I got music, I'm good. And as I think about all of the Pearls as well as the Earls, I thought of so many different people. Mahalia Jackson, I think she is one of the first that really resonated, her voice. As I remember my mom taking me to the movie Imitation of Life and her singing, and it was like, who is that? So Mahalia Jackson, Etta James, Duke Ellington, Beyonce, Aretha Franklin, Jennifer Hudson, James Cleveland, Michael Jackson, Hezekiah Walker, Tamala Mann, Kirk Franklin, Martha Menizzi, James Brown, Janet Jackson, Vicky Yohe, and my favorite. And somebody said, why do all your favorite singers, something happened to them? Because I was in love with Marvin Gaye, but Luther Vandross was my favorite singer of all time. But, even Kenny G with his jazz and that saxophone, it's all soothing. But when I think about the theme that women providing healing, promoting hope, I immediately thought about this certain woman, powerful woman. Now, she had a man in her life, and together they made beautiful music. I mean, beautiful music. And often what women bear makes them stronger. We never know what someone else is dealing with. And then I thought, well, perhaps if her husband had been a praying man, she wouldn't have had to escape the abuse that she went through. Yes, one day she woke up and she was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. So she said, I have to start over. She had to start from zero. And the only thing that she said that she wanted from this man was her name. because her name was a part of their singing group and he wasn't having it. But she said, that's all I want. Just give me my name. And she ended up getting her name. Tina Turner. Tina Turner started with her iconic husband, Ike Turner. You know, the Ike and Tina review. However, Tina was the victim of verbal and physical abuse. Sometimes she was beaten so bad she just could put up on enough makeup to make it out on the stage. He didn't care if he had beat her, whatever he had done to her, she had to go out and perform. But she went and did it. She did it with dignity and humility, and she did it to the best of her ability. But when she could no longer endure it, as I said before, she was like, I got to get out of here. So what she did, she remembered her friend who was strong, just as she was. And she remembered her friend said, if you ever get tired, look me up. So she found her friend, and her friend was into Buddhism. But irregardless, she worked with Tina, and Tina began to love herself. And you know, women all have to start out, as well as men, but it's important that you start out loving yourself. So when she learned how to love Tina, it made the hugest difference. So she started over. She showed everyone that you can overcome your obstacles and you can build your best life, and it can be better than ever before. Tina was born in Nutbush, Tennessee. Today, she is known as the killer singer with the killer legs. She is one of the best-selling music artists, male or female, of all times. Her accolades include 8 Grammy Awards, MTV Music Video Awards, Billboard Music Awards, American Music Awards. She starred in the Who's musical film, Tommy. Sorry. And she also starred in the movie Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. She was awarded a star on the Hollywood Wall of Fame. She has 3 songs that have been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame: River Deep Mountain High, Proud Mary, and Simply the Best. She was celebrated as a prestigious Kennedy Center Honors recipient in 2005. In 1991, Tina was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She has sold more than 200 million albums and singles worldwide. Tina also holds the Guinness Book World Record for selling more concert tickets than any other solo performer in history. Her career spans 5 decades, and she never ages. She just keeps getting better. So remember, women, there is hope out there. No matter what you're going through, there is hope. And if you ever get down and you forget that, think about Tina. She showed us what it means to get sick and tired of being sick and tired and starting all over again and coming out even better than before. My second person that I thought about, because I really admired her because she started young, and her voice, I mean, she just had the most amazing voice. And, you know, many women go through many different types of struggles every single day. Some deal with these obstacles for a season. Others have ups and downs. And then others suffer from things for a lifetime. They go through a whole entire journey. Sometimes the discord is not visible to the public, and other times it may be visible and right in the midst of the news, and everybody can see what is going on at a given point. But regardless, It is a fantastic feat when you can endure despite and bless the world with your talents. This next amazing musical artist has shown the world it's vital to ask for help and follow the advice when you become overwhelmed. None of us are perfect, but there is help and hope for everyone. Whitney Houston had a silky, robust voice like no other. She began singing in church and went on to win the hearts of millions. To date, she is the most awarded female artist of all time. She still holds the record for best-selling single, I Will Always Love You. Whitney's awards also include 2 Emmy Awards, 6 Grammy Awards, 16 Billboard Music Awards, 22 American Music Awards, a total of 415 career awards through 2010. Imagine if she was still around and on her A game. Known as one of the best-selling music artists, having sold over 170 million albums and singles worldwide, Whitney received her music influence from her mother, of course, Cissy Houston, her cousins Dionne Warwick and Dee Dee Warwick, and her godmother, Aretha Franklin. Whitney's first acting role was in The Bodyguard. The soundtrack won the 1994 Grammy for Album of the Year. The single, I Will Always Love You, became the best-selling single by a female artist in music history. What talent. She also starred in Waiting to Exhale, The Preacher's Wife, and my favorite, Sparkle. Now, as I mentioned, there has been so many that have contributed to the world's music. I don't care what genre you like, whether it is gospel, R&B, pop, country, rap, reggae. There is someone that has contributed, male and female. So our Earls and our Pearls have contributed to this music. And again, where would we be without music? But another person that I often think about when you talk about music, because, sometimes, it's just like, I know I could get in trouble with my mom. And back then, you didn't even look like you were going to talk back. So all I could do was go sit somewhere and sing or maybe hum. So think about years and years ago when music was just starting up and all the slaves would gather together. And sometimes that's all they could do was sing and hum. That reminds me of Harriet Tubman. Who freed many enslaved people during her missions on the Underground Railroad. I'm trying to turn it down. Of course, there are many myths about her life, her passion, and processes over the years. One such myth has to do with the music. The myth was that Harriet sang Sweet Low Sweet Chariot, Wade in the Water, and Follow the Drinking Gourd as signals on the railroad. But those were only myths. The fact is, as told according to her own biography, Tubman sang 2 songs while operating her rescue missions. One was Bound for the Promised Land, and the other, Go Down Moses. Go down, Moses. Let my people go. Tubman said that she would change the tempo of that song to indicate whether it was safe to come out or not. So can you just imagine your family, your loved ones being slaves, and they're trying to escape and get away. And they're just hoping to hear one of those songs. And then listening for the tempo. Is it safe for me to go tonight? Or do I have to take another day, another week of this torment? We salute Harriet Tubman. She was a strong woman, a brave woman. And like Anita started out saying, she was bringing people along with her. She figured out a way to get away, but she didn't leave all the other slaves behind. She moved as many as possible. So if it were not for Harriet Tubman, the songs that she sang to let people know whether it was safe or not, and the journey she made on the Underground Railroad, the freedom that she gave people to sing and make music, where would music be today? I wonder, do you? Thank you, ladies. And I love all these ladies because they all bring something to help the world to be better. All women of grace, humility, love, and pride. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
I think I can say like James Brown, and you said it. I feel good. What so much wonderful, wonderful information that we have shared and that we have received on this beautiful Saturday. When I think about a common thread or a common theme that went throughout, first of all, we know that we need to be unified. We also understand that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. We stand on the shoulders of our strong mothers. We stand on the shoulders of our strong fathers. And our shoulders need to be strong so that those who are coming behind us can one day say, I stood on the strong shoulders of Anastasia. I stood on those strong shoulders of Carol. I'm standing on the strong shoulders of Deborah. We have a charge to keep, and we must continue to keep that charge. When I thought about the four themes, when I thought about that we were going to talk about March Madness and educators, and we're going to talk about politicians, can't talk about anything without bringing in the universal language of music. By now, you should know I love children books. So when somebody say how many books you read in a year, my number is way up there because I can sit home at night and go through 30 children books. They don't have to know that they're not 400 pages. Just read some books. So another great book is called Our Children Can Soar, and it's by a lady named Michelle Cook. So we can say our children can soar. We can say our parents can soar. You can put your name in there. You can make it personal. But listen to this short story about how we stand on the shoulders of someone else. And we hope that you will be encouraged. We hope that you will be inspired to do better tomorrow or this evening than you did on yesterday, because you are encouraged and inspired by someone who made a difference in your life today. Again, Our Children Can Soar. It's a celebration of Rosa Barack and the pioneer of change. You know, we got to start with my man. Got to start with him. Our ancestors fought so George could invent. George Washington Carver, that is. He discovered 100 uses for the peanut, sweet potatoes, and soybean, among other plants. And even though he was born into slavery, he went on to graduate from college, earned a master's degree, and became the director of agriculture research at Tuskegee University. You see, George invented so Jesse could sprint. That's right, Jesse Owens. He was a famous Olympian. He won 4 gold medals in track and field in 1956. Jesse showed everyone the accomplishment a person can achieve regardless of their race. You see, Jesse sprinted so that Hattie could start. That's right, Hattie McDaniel. She was a gifted radio and film actress. She was the first African American to win an Academy Award for playing Mammy in the classic movie Gone with the Wind. That's right. Hattie starred so that Ella could sing. None other than Ella Fitzgerald, who was a wonderful singer. Her bright, effortless vocals and single talent made her one of the greatest jazz singers of all times. Ella was considered the first lady of jazz. You see, Ella sang so that Jackie could score. Carol, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Jackie Robertson.
Yes.
As most folks know him as the first African American to play baseball in the major leagues. Jackie broke the racial barriers, but just as importantly, he broke many athletic records too. You see, Jackie scored so that Rosa could set, and we all know who that is, none other than Rosa Parks. And Rosa is considered the mother of modern civil rights movement. Refusing, thank you, Rosa, refusing to give up her seats sparked a movement across the nation. Her actions brought the issue of racial inequality and segregation into the spotlight. This is not in the book. I just want to say this again. Thank you, Rosa, because I get car sick riding in the back of the bus. So thank you, Rosa, for what you did. I appreciate you, Rosa. You see, Rosa sat so that my girl Ruby could learn. None other than one of my all-time favorites, Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges proved that even that the smallest of members of society can make a big difference. She was 6 years old when she helped integrated the New Orleans public school system. She was the first African-American child to attend an all-white school in the South. You see, Ruby learned so that Martin could march. You got it. None other than Dr. Martin Luther King. And I know he doesn't need any introduction. He was, in some respect, the voice of the people for many, many years. And I want to add this too. He's still the voice today for us. And among his many speeches, his I Have a Dream speech was considered one of his most famous speeches. You see, Martin had the march show that Thurgood could rule. My man, Thurgood Marshall. He was the first African-American justice in the U.S. Supreme Court. He was a fighter for African Americans and minorities, influencing many landmark cases. He was instrumental in ending segregation in public schools. Now check this out. You see, Thurgood ruled, Anastasia, so that Barack could run. That's what I'm talking about. President Barack Obama, the man, was the first African American man elected to the nation's highest office, becoming 44th president of these United States of America. And Barack ran so that you, Deborah, and you, Anastasia, and you, Carol, and all of our children, and all of our ancestors, and all of our friends, no matter what race they are, that they could soar higher and higher and go faster and faster and stronger and bring everybody up with them. Don't you like that book?
Woo! Yes.
Our
Love it. Love it.
So we hope that everyone is encouraged. We hope that everyone is inspired. We hope that you will continue to try to make a difference as you go in and out and about your busy day. And before I say, give it back over to our wonderful leader, Deborah, to Anastasia, Carol, and Deborah, to my sisters, I want to say, I am so inspired that I want to say, I will always love you.
And I love you too.
Ditto. I love it.
Wonderful.
Awesome, ladies. I'd rather be with you four than anywhere else right now. Y'all are the bomb. I love it. All right, ladies. Please, Anastasia, tell us to let everyone know what you're doing and where they can find you. Then followed by Carol, and then anything else you want to say, Anita, before I close out.
Well, I can be found on Facebook and Instagram, BB Cummings. I can be contacted by Gmail, bbecoming1@gmail.com. My platform and my work is in youth mentorship and also career path advisement. So that's how you can find me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can find me on Facebook, where I am constantly posting the power of your words. And so also you can find me on the third Monday night with Ricardo Miller show, where I'm a co-host with him along with Miss Deborah. And you can email me at carolbocrockett@gmail.com. And I just want to add one thing about those athletes that I thought about. All our Earls know LeBron James, right?
Yes.
He is an avid reader. And they said that during one of the playoff games, they saw him. It was a picture floating where just before he get ready to go in the playoff, he was in at his locker reading a book. He's an avid reader. So we want to make sure for the Earls, that they know that there are men who love to read.
Yay. Yes.
I have absolutely nothing else to add. I'm just so happy to be a part of this wonderful, wonderful group. I don't have a platform like you all, so I can just be found on the Deborah show when we do it once.
But you bring it, my sister.
Oh, yes.
You bring it.
Making.
Yes.
So thank you for letting me hang out with you all.
Anytime.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So thank you all so much. And I am on the Ricardo Miller Monday Night Conversation on 4th Monday nights at 7 Central Time. And you can catch me by following my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org. And on there, you can read my blogs that come out each Monday. You can follow my calendar of events. If you go down on the home page on those icons, if you click on any of those icons, it will take you directly to my Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages. So when we go on live, if you click on those, it'll take you directly to our lives. Also on my website, you can go to the services that I offer, which is coaching, consultations, speaking and webinar speaking. And also you can get a copy of my book, Build Your Best Life. You can get your autographed copy. I have them in stock, so you will get them quickly. If you prefer the Kindle version, Amazon.com. But thank you all so much for being on this morning. I know the rest of your day is going to be full of excitement because you're going to be talking about this broadcast. You're going to be sharing, push that share. Because this has been amazing. So thank you so much. Please tune in Tuesday on my platform at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss that. So thank you so very much. Brady Robinson will be on, and you know when Brady's here, we get good things about finances. So please tune in Tuesday, the 22nd. Thank you so much.
All right.
So as you go along, please follow my basic principles, building your best life, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but right now. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. Thank you. Love you. Be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Love you. Stay safe. Stay warm. Bye, sisters.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
I should say bye, Pearls.
Bye, Pearl. Bye, ladies. Have a good day.